welcome to the first episode of Dancing with a Distance. I'll get to what this is all about here in a moment, but let me introduce myself a bit first. As T.D. Walker, I'm the author of a couple poetry collections, Maps of a Hollowed World and Small Waiting Objects. I'm also Tammy, Kilo India 5 Oscar Delta Echo, but I'm not on the air much, just not much free time. And I'm primarily a shortwave radio listener, so any free time that I have, I'm generally trying to catch some distant broadcast, like the BBC World Service. So what is Dancing with a Distance? It's a place for all the interesting things I come across when I'm doing research for poems or science fiction, or now they're mysteries that I write. It's also a place where I'll talk about radio stuff. I'm fascinated by radio, both by the technology and the science behind it, as well as the experience of listening to radio and making content for radio. So there's that. In 2019, I made a couple episodes of a program called Shortwave Short Poem for broadcast, of course, on shortwave radio. And I've got new episodes of that in the works for later this year. I also have in the works a listener mailbox program with a bit of a twist, and I will talk about that one on an upcoming episode soon. I won't be reviewing radios, but I will talk about how I'm using radios and related technology and constructs in my writing. So right now I'm using Conelrad, which is a predecessor to the predecessor of our current emergency alert system. I'm using Conelrad as a parallel and a contrast to the way information is distributed recently during the pandemic. It was a really good way for me to explore what we expect from world-shaking crises. I'll talk about that poem on an upcoming episode too. I wanted to take this first episode, though, to talk about play. Not child-centered play, though I have kids and I do think about that a fair bit. Now, I'm talking about open-ended activities that just bring you joy and also enrich your life in some way. There's not necessarily an end goal to play, other than just, doing the thing in itself, play in itself. Sports, hiking, doing any sort of crafts, for instance. It's vital for anyone, especially for people who create anything, which I'd argue is almost all of us. Sheltering at home essentially cut me off from one of my main forms of play because for me, play can come in the form of wandering around museums or shops or any other place where there's an interesting interplay between the building, what's in it, and the people who pass through. I do have radio, though. I love the idea of, quote, playing radio, as a lot of people in the radio community put it, because it isn't an end-based activity, really. You turn on the radio, tinker with it, open up the radio and tinker with it, see what you can do. Sitting outside with a radio is play for me too, but you can't do that half the year here in Dallas unless you're better with heat and mosquitoes than I am. I'm not good with either. That and there's so much interference inside the house, so that's not a solution. So video, this is my active play for right now. Video is new for me, and there's something playful about being an absolute beginner at something that is pretty far removed from my work as a writer and as a software developer, which is my day job. I'd love to hear from you, what you're doing for play right now. Leave a comment, and if you'd like to stay tuned for more about the projects that I have in the works, both the writing projects and the shortwave radio programs that I'm going to be producing, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and 73s, y'all.